There's always a discussion online about whether you should use an integer as your ID for your database or if you should use a GUID for your database. Now, the approach I started using is actually a very boring and cliche answer, kind of both, right? You have the integer internally for your database and you have the GUID externally for your database. The reason why is because integers are very, very small, right, in terms of actual space they take up, and on top of that, they're really fast when it comes to joining tables, etc. So from a performance perspective, integers are the choice to have as your internal key. Now, the reason I will tell you to create a second table for GUIDs is actually because these will function as your external keys. Now, I'm going to show you just one example as to why GUIDs are better as an external keys than integers. Suppose I have a model, it's called invoice or maybe even transaction, and I have a dashboard panel, www.nlm.com/invoice or transaction/1. The issue with this approach is that, well, it makes a lot of sense, but if you have access to the invoice/1, you also probably have access to invoice/2, and you also have access to /3, 4, 5. Now, if somebody, for no reason at all, decides to start scraping your website for particular data and you use auto-incrementing identifiers such as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you make it incredibly easy for somebody to scrape very private data. And from a security perspective, I always say people should be able to do the least they want to do. So if somebody wants to just read a database, it should not have access to writing a database. Similarly, if I want somebody to read their invoice, I want them to only have access to their invoice. And the way we can do that is by adding a tiny GUID here. Now let me create a tiny GUID example. I'm going to show you what it looks like so it makes a lot more sense. /invoice. Right. I can't bring it up fast enough. Now, to save our attention span, I'm just going to write some stuff here. This is just one example as to why it's a good idea to have external GUIDs. Here is another example. I'm going to do the following link. How much information can you get out of this link? Well, you can get the information that I collect invoices, you can collect the information that I collect them even per day, and you can already tell that I have 2,300 invoices in a single day. Now, when you're using GUIDs, none of this information is available to you. At best, you can collect the information that you separated by day, but that's it. Now, when you use this system, if you want to expose information from your database to the public and you want the public, including your administrators, to modify it, use an external GUID and internally transform that into the internal key. So now you remain in the optimal position of having a very fast internal database join, but having the secure aspect of never exposing any information about a particular model to the outside world. Except, of course, what's necessary.